Hello Taurus and welcome to November. So it's going to be fun month. Finally we are able to kind of like push things forward for starters. And I'm going to be telling you a little bit of astrology before I jump right into tarot reading. November 3rd, it's the end of Mercury retrograde. Yay! And thank God, right? Because that was like one of the messier kind of like Mercury retrograde. So keep in mind that like Mercury is still staying in Libra until the 10th, which means that we'll be still kind of like focusing on equality, on justice, on things that are right, and so on and so forth. On the 10th, when Mercury enters Scorpio, it's going to kind of like start bringing things that have been hidden to the surface. And that's kind of like going to be very important for you this month, because you're kind of like going to be affected this month with relationships and how relationships impact your life. And that's going to really take quite a bit of your attention. On one hand, kind of like you're going to find, hey, this is really lovely and it's harmonious, and kind of like I really want to sit in this energy. And especially the new moon on the 15th is going to kind of like put you in a situation where you can kind of like be on the same page with your partner and your close friends. You're going to feel really kind of like close. And on the 21st of this month, like this is when Sun enters Sagittarius, right? It's also Venus moves into Scorpio, and it's going to be kind of like for you ability to take these relationships to the next level, right? So also when we kind of like get in that Sagittarius, the 21st, right? It's kind of like the time of a year that is always marked by intense inspection. It's kind of inspecting yourself, your subconscious habits, and also your kind of like intangible resources. What are those? So this is like our time and the energy kind of like, and how we kind of like stretch this, and who are the people we want to spend this on, right? So you're going to also feel that some people in your life are now very precious. You're going to kind of like go and have this like train of thought, my God, you know, like, I mean, I want to kind of like really dedicate this moment to this person, right? Also, on the other hand, this kind of like focus on relationships. And look, you have the world, you have like a karma card on the bottom, which is really good. Like the world contains these four fixed signs. You are one of them, so Taurus, Aquarius, Leo, and Scorpio. Maybe you kind of like have these characters in your life, and you're kind of like finally feeling secure that you build this fortress, because that's what fixed signs do, right? But you can also have strife, not only with the signs, but in general, right? Because you might find that you are second guessing yourself, or even like your own needs. Like your shopping list will be like, why am I buying this, right? And when it comes to relationship, it will feel like, hey, you know, like, I mean, is it always me who compromise? Or like, I mean, why are things not kind of like working out better, right? You really need to trust your instincts this month, Taurus, because you're a stubborn sign. And even though you always know what you want, but you shouldn't be afraid to share that with your loved ones, because it might feel like you have some kind of like agenda. Because this month also we have like this November 30th, which is a really lunar eclipse that kind of like can bring tension, can bring secrecy. And this is kind of like the same thing that will be happening with kind of like this kind of like new moon in Scorpio. And it kind of like can bring the secrets even around the 10th, when Mercury shifts into Scorpio. So let's see, the world and lots of signs, if not all that I read so far, had this like ta-da moment, right? It looks like we have massively conquered some lesson. We are massively moving in the next very positive phase. So something really good will be happening, right? This is kind of like, to me, half karma card, because it's happening right now. So literally this month it will happen. So it's not like saying, okay, you're on the path over there, you are driving to Rome, but you know, you can have flat tires sometimes and never get there, right? This is it. You're getting it right now. I am not going to sign off until I see you there. Kind of like that kind of things. Then you also have the Hermit, which kind of like can talk about this introspection that I told you, kind of like maybe even though these relationships will be very important to you, you will want to be around the other people, you will also kind of like want to take some time on your own, either watch television or meditate. I have a feeling that you will be doing some kind of like I wanted to say stretchy exercise, or rather to say yoga, but not so much to stretch, rather to kind of like really get the chi going, so your energy is positioned better. You kind of like, you know how we give out energy and sometimes it's a negative energy, then we kind of like get the negative energy back. So you are kind of like almost like cleaning. It's a dry cleaning of your energy over here. Of course, it's a twice. So something for you will be really prominent about around moon phases. So like we have new moon on November 15th. Sorry, is it yeah, 15th is new moon in Scorpio, and also on the 30th we have this lunar eclipse, which is in Gemini. So here, like there is like this thing, you really know the truth. It keeps reinforcing this message, like you really need to trust your intuition. A high priestess, like you see here, it is like, I mean, where you meditate, where you kind of like pull in and the answers come, because we are just simply a database of all answers. Just like we don't know how to go there, we always kind of go out, and she is the one who is willing to serve you these answers. So it's almost like connecting to the universe, connecting to angels, connecting to God, connecting to that source of energy, whatever is that you consider the source, right? Then you have Seven of Cups, and this kind of like means you're being a dreamer again. Seven of Cups sometimes can get lost, and how it gets lost? It gets lost with kind of like being sidetracked, right, in different directions. So there are like too many wishes and then too little time. And remember how I said like those intangible energy kind of like in time thing that you really need to think about, those are still resources. So this kind of tells me that maybe you're repositioning yourself and realizing what is really important. You have a Judgment, and this card also is coming through, like, I mean, almost like for all signs. So now we have two karma cards here. This card, and it's upright for everybody so far, means, ta-da, yes, you have accomplished your karma, and you clean certain things off your plate, kind of like the check mark. It looks like we collectively are moving forward, and I really feel this is going to be really prominent in the middle of the month, let's say from the 10th to the 20th, and it's going to be that shift where the secrets are no longer secrets, everything is coming out. So all the shocking that can happen is happening, with a little bit kind of like ripples that can happen, that will happen on November 30th in addition, right? But it's going to be kind of like the dance of it, where it's just like what it is. Even if we did something wrong, our understanding that we did wrong, kind of like having that self-awareness, is what propels us forward. If you don't have introspection or self-awareness, well, you know, I think you're going to see this month is going to be a huge shift. Also, you'll have no freaking patience dealing with people who are not tuned in. You have Ten of Swords, and it's not as bad as it is in the other decks, this particular card, right? Look at that. He is trying grasp to get his transportation method here, but he did see who is the one who harmed him, and I think he is going to get it, and he's going to go and run after them. So maybe you have been wronged, and that's kind of like talks about these clashes and talks about strifes. Maybe you feel that you have been wronged by people. Maybe you're a little bit revengeful, right? Remember, let's be honest, sometimes you have that little kind of like, I mean, thing in there. So Ten of Swords is kind of like this indication that you're either not letting somebody in your life, because High Priestess is like the light, like a traffic light. When you see, it's almost like a red and green. So she doesn't talk. It's like, okay, red, you're not passing. Green, yeah, sure, come over, kind of a thing, right? So it's kind of like understanding who you want to keep, who you don't want to keep in your life. It almost looks like you're either shunning some people or you will show them, that kind of like sort of things. We have Page of Pentacles. So this is kind of like, look, he's flipping a coin. Where do I go? How do I go? Map, additions. Maybe you'll be finding something at home, maybe something treasure that you buried, or something that you used to play with or read a book, and now you're going to come back to it, and it's going to create kind of like hours and hours of passion and hours of joy. So you kind of like, guys, like history, and you guys like something of that sort is coming to mind. It's not overly romantic. It's going to be like rather studious that I see in Page of Pentacles. And then we have Six of Pentacles, and there's like some kind of generosity, and this is a flow of generosity, like both coming in and coming out. So this is it, like, I mean, you figuring out who is in and who is out, who you really want to keep around you and who you don't, and hence you need to create a little bit of disturbance. You need to rock the boat a little bit, but who stays stays, and you'll be more than willing to kind of like do something and give them something. So you'll feel generous, and if you are not feeling generous, generosity would actually push you to the next level, because that's clearly falling in your own house. In your environment, we have Three of Wands, and Three of Wands means that, like, I mean, again, it's a relationship card. It's like, I mean, ships card, partnerships, relationships, you know, friendships. Kind of like all of these things maybe can merge in one, or maybe you're going to just like really feel, and it's really productive. It's kind of like benefiting out of it. So somebody will be there who will also see you as somebody they really want to be with, and in any of these kind of like forms that I've told you. So your hopes and fears is King of Pentacles, which is you. Look at that big Taurus, and with a big kind of like cake. And almost like you're going to feel this entire month that is your birthday. It's almost like the opposite, right? It's like whenever we feel in the opposite sign, we feel a bit tired, but we also feel kind of like very very nurtured, like almost like a cocoon. I think my little black kitty is Taurus. I mean, he doesn't just sleep on a gel mattress, which I like because I like kind of like cold mattress to sleep on. He also wants on the gel mattress that they put a feather pillow, and then he goes on top. So he has all these layers, right? Like the proverbial Grimm story, right? Like the princess on what is this, on a pea kind of like thing. So he's not happy until this is there. So this is kind of like that pampering attitude that is coming through. Also, guys, if you're looking for a partner, it's going to be the really right partner who's going to be just what doctor prescribed for you. And lastly, we have Nine of Swords. So we had a Ten of Swords and we have a Nine of Swords. Like you still have some kind of suspicions on your head. You're still not really trusting people around you. There's like still something clouded. Like, I mean, this is coming on top, which is not great. But Nine of Swords at least reversed. So she's not longer looking down. She's no longer in her own depression or in her own confusion. So now, you know, there is like understanding, look, this whole knives are dropping, like all of these wrongs or whatever, the words or something that happened are dropping, and you're able to kind of like look and see the sun. Just like in both cards, it exists, but it's not necessarily the focus if you have 10 swords in your back, or if you feel that somebody's going to do that. But you are still feeling agitated, right? Like there is like the feeling of somebody that wronged you is still very, very present, and it's almost like that it did something to you where you feel you don't want to move forward to some reason. I did bring one more card here, which is for you, heart-to-heart conversations, which kind of like did give me this whole idea. Yes, it's going to be all about relationships and about kind of like who stays, who goes, right? I guess this new kind of like a vision that you have, how you're going to do, which is kind of like coming internally, is going to be almost like a second nature to you. So yes, again, I repeat, you need to trust your intuition, because certain things you'll be taken to the next level. Especially remember, 21st is the key date. 15 to 21st will be amazing for relationships. Guys, you're going to enjoy it, but you're going to still have a little bit part of yourself that you're not going to give. Remember, in relationships, you are now able to kind of like left things behind you. So it's really not good to have this hold. Maybe that's going to happen in December. We'll see. So my Taurus, this is it for this month. Please join my social media and become a subscriber if you haven't already. Also, if you want to get my preview for 2021, which is only going to be given to subscribers and to people who are subscribed to my mailing list, please do that. Subscribe here, and then you can go on my website, cattarot.ca, and a pop-up is going to jump and ask you to subscribe to a mailing list. Don't worry about being spammed, because I'm just too lazy to spam anybody. I think I just send once a month and saying, hey, you know, Taroscopes are out. Just do it, because of this creepy YouTube kind of like algorithm that you never know what to expect. So that much from me. Enjoy, guys. It's just going to be a lovely month. Remember that. And if you really need to deal with something the most, it's going to be your inner struggle and inner kind of like revenge. But if you're able to overcome that, it's going to be absolutely lovely month. Have a good one. I love you, and all the best.